Hi, my name is Matt Zieler, and I'm the founder and CEO of Clarifai. Welcome to Perceive 2021. Today is a very exciting day where we're kicking off Perceive for the next 2 days, where you'll be jam-packed with exciting talks from leaders across the AI community. We put on this conference to really foster an environment where data scientists, developers, operators from the world's leading businesses and organizations in the public sector can learn more about AI and apply it to solving critical business problems. So we're really excited to bring an entire cast of really great speakers from our partners, from our customers, from the academic community, and more to bring to light the advances in AI and how it's impacting them and their businesses. And you'll see this is spread over 2 days, where the first day is focused on a lot of the visionary talks, business leaders and researchers on the advances of AI, whereas the second day is more workshops to really dive deep and learn how you can leverage Clarifai to solve your AI problems. And this is really designed for developers, data scientists, and product managers alike. The focus of Perceive is Software 2.0. We think this is a huge opportunity. It's what our entire company builds day in and day out. What is Software 2.0? Well, when you think about it, software really ate the world. It innovated in every possible business. Every business became a software business. But with artificial intelligence, every business is now going to become an AI business. And we think that AI is going to eat every possible aspect of software and be really influential in every possible business. And when you think about the difference, Software 1.0 was about humans coding computers to do what they want. Whereas Software 2.0 is computers learn from data to understand the world and recognize patterns within it in order to solve more complex problems. And the paradigm is pretty simple. It works by analyzing a large amount of data, identifying these patterns, and distilling them into a model that can represent those patterns and recognize those similar patterns on new examples, so that when you deploy the models into production, you can solve complex problems, often in real time. That's the big advantage of Software 2.0. And it's an opportunity that is absolutely massive because of the amount of data that is being generated. There's some estimates that estimate the amount of data in the world is going to grow to 163 billion terabytes by 2025. And 90% of that data is unstructured. This is where Clarifai plays. Unstructured data are the images, video, audio, and text that don't have a structured form. So often businesses and organizations overlook this valuable data because they can't do much with it. Whereas Clarifai turns this unstructured data into a valuable asset that you can take action and get value from. And this market is just growing at a tremendous rate. There's lots of different analyst reports capturing the AI market, but here's just a couple that we are really excited about. The first, by ARC Capital, is showing that the opportunity for artificial intelligence actually can surpass the opportunity that we saw in the recent generation of the internet. By 2037, it's estimated that AI can impact a $30 trillion market, whereas the internet may be a $20 trillion market by that time. On the right, you're seeing a report from McKinsey, where it breaks down the impact that AI will have on a variety of different industries. Each of those impacts is $100 billion plus, in total summing up to about $5.8 trillion, the impact that AI will have on the world. These are really exciting numbers, and it's what gets us excited about building Clarifai to give you the most powerful tools to get AI to solve your mission-critical business needs. And that's why investors are excited as well. Just on Friday, we were very excited to announce our $60 million Series C led by NEA, and accompanied by a lot of new investors: Canadian Pension Plan, Next Equity, Sinewave, Truesdale, and more. And existing investors like Union Square Ventures, Menlo Ventures, Lux Capital, Corazon, LDV, even NYU participated in this round because they see the trajectory we're on and the opportunity to understand and provide the world's AI. So this is really excited to bring to you today a lot of new advances in the Clarifai platform. When you think about what we're offering, it's really deep learning through and through. That's where my expertise in my academic career are coming out to the market, where I was very fortunate to learn from some of the pioneers like Jeff Hinton, Jan LeCun, Rob Fergus, Jeff Dean, and bring that expertise along with our dedicated research team that pushes the limits of AI innovation. We bring that into our platform so that we have the best-in-class AI to solve your problems. And the way we approach our platform is by having all of the tools for every step in the deep learning lifecycle in one place. We don't want you to have to stitch together multiple different niche tools, different open source projects in order to solve a complex business problem with artificial intelligence. We want you to come to Clarifai and solve it end to end. And that really starts with your data. Again, it's the unstructured data, images, video, text, and audio that Clarifai can understand. In order to make sense of that, you need to label that data. That's why we introduced Scribe just last year to label data at 100 times faster of a rate and larger scale than competing products. All that data is indexed with Spacetime, so you can manage it as your data sets grow. And that feeds directly into the training and evaluation tools we call Enlight within the platform, where we accelerate the ability to learn from your data and train models literally within seconds. All those models are immediately available at production scale thanks to Armada, which scales up dynamically without you ever having to think about the DevOps of AI ever again. Finally, in the cloud, we have Mesh, which lets you chain together multiple AI models to do more high-value business logic within our platform. All of those run in the cloud across all the major clouds, Google, Microsoft, Amazon, as well as on-premise. So you can deploy this full end-to-end lifecycle on your bare metal machines, even in air-gapped environments where there's no connection to the internet. To extend that flexibility even further, we just launched Flare, which lets you run computation at the edge and run on low-power devices, even disconnected from the internet. So you'll hear about all these products today, and you'll see a lot of new advances in this AI lifecycle. And we're going to start with launch of AI Lake. AI Lake brings together AI apps and Spacetime search to really manage AI at scale. When you think about AI, it's not just about the data and the algorithms. There's lots of components that make up AI. The concepts that you want to recognize in the world, the annotations on your data, the models and workflows that are put together to solve a business problem. We encapsulate all that in our underlying data storage layer, which we call our AI Lake. And it lets you have fine-grained permission control so you can share all of these resources across the AI community, and both internal teams and external teams. So you're in full control. And this is broken down for you as an organization into AI apps, which let you organize your different use cases within an organization into a project or an application. So this is tailored to a specific use case, and it'll have a collection of your data, your labels, the models that are trained on that data, maybe workflows that you've created, whatever you need to solve a particular use case, you can group it together in a single application. And that might be completely different in some other part of your organization where you have a vastly different use case. Maybe it's face recognition to gate entry at a warehouse, whereas on the assembly line of your manufacturing plant, you might have some quality control recognition. And then once you've built something and it's out in use, like you see in this example on the right, you might be doing predictive maintenance on it as it's in operation. So AI apps let you group together the logical resources that help you solve problems at scale in your organization. Within each application, we have very powerful search. We like to call it Spacetime, and today we're introducing Spacetime 2, which is adding additional functionality to the search capabilities within the Clarifai platform. This allows you to index terabytes of data, and it allows you to slice and dice it using artificial intelligence. There's additional functionality that lets you deduplicate data based on similars and denoise data so that you improve the quality of your data sets, augment those data sets with automatically generated AI annotations, and even do powerful queries that are anonymous. When you think about face recognition, we want to protect people's personally identifiable information, so we provide anonymous search that doesn't require that at all. So those are the benefits of Spacetime 2. Let's take a look at what that looks like. So here's an example application where it has all of the resources together for art recognition. And we're just going to show a few labels applied to these 4 images, and we're going to go ahead and train a model to recognize a handful of different artists that are producing this artwork. And when you kick off training, you don't have to think about provisioning machines, scaling up, distributing the workload. You literally just click a button in the Clarifai platform. And we provide very simple to use user interfaces. You don't even need to be a developer. That's what you're seeing right here. If you are a developer, all of the same things you're seeing in these UIs are available to you with literally a few lines of code in our APIs, which are that have clients that are available in about a dozen different languages. And as I just talked for about 10 seconds, that model was trained on about 8,000 inputs to recognize 50 different artists. One thing that's really unique to Clarifai is not just the training speed, but the fact that we can actually search for the things you just taught the platform immediately after the model is trained without re-indexing your data. So there could be a billion images in this application, and we'd be able to find Alfred Sisley's work immediately after that model is trained. This is truly game changer because it puts the power in the operator's hands. They can find a few examples, train a model for what they care to recognize in the world, search for more examples of that thing, label them, and improve the model in this cycle that improves AI continuously. So that's the power of AI apps and Spacetime search. Now, when you think about AI, it's very often that you have this abstraction called datasets, and we're introducing this to the Clarifai platform. And essentially, because you have this really powerful Spacetime search, a dataset is a snapshot of the search results in our platform. And you can use this to evaluate models on, to train your models on, to share with collaborators. You can even use it in the future to understand how data is drifting when you deploy a model into production. This is the power of datasets. And when you start looking at what we're about to show you in a few of these demos today, you're seeing a new user interface. This is a whole new reinvention to encapsulate all the different powerful features that we're building into the Clarifai platform for now and many years to come. And that includes datasets where we'll have breakdowns of statistics, we'll have very powerful search functionality built right in, and a great user experience to boot. Once you have your data uploaded into the platform, you can slice and dice it with search, which is really exciting. But to make the use of that data and train AI models to recognize what you care about, that's where data labeling comes in. And we built Scribe from the ground up to be different than any other tool on the planet. At the forefront, we're automating as much as possible away from humans. And we're seeing over 100x efficiency improvement compared to using human workforce tools and competing products. And this isn't just simple linters, isn't just regular expressions that some other tools provide. This is full-on artificial intelligence automating the data labeling process. And this is 100% configurable by you. You can build workflows like you see on the right, where you have an AI model making predictions, and you route the high confidence predictions to the database directly, trusting those predictions as if a human made those annotations manually. On the other branch, you might route the low confidence predictions where the model's not really accurate yet, and have a human verify those predictions. And when it's presented to the human, we go even further. We additionally add AI assistance to do things like object tracking, segmentation tools, interpolation, so that when a human does have to get the 1% of the data that they might encounter, they're even automated themselves. So let's take a look at some of these tools. The first here is showing you some of the video labeling tools. In this case, we're trying to label some landing gear approach, landing gear touchdown, and the plane is landing. Those are the concepts you see on the right. Everything is hotkeys for the humans to interact with the keyboard directly. And as we turn on interpolation and draw a bounding box, you'll see that as we play out the video, we can simply take that existing bounding box, adjust it to the new location, and resize it because the plane got closer to the camera, it got larger. Now, if we enter this interpolation, you'll see that it actually created bounding boxes in every intermediate frame. So this sped up the human effort significantly, and this is just one example of the assistance we provide. This applies not only to bounding boxes, but also to polygons. So here you're seeing us recognize or allow you to draw point-by-point polygons and then interpolate those, again, individual point by point. So this is really powerful because it speeds up a lot of the manual, tedious work that you have to do on videos. However, we could do even better, especially when you're thinking about segmentation masks and polygons. We've introduced a whole variety of new tools around segmentation. Of course, you can draw it point by point, but with the magic wand tool, it's very similar to any popular photo editing magic wand. You'll be able to flood fill a region that has similar looking pixels to generate a segmentation mask that is pixel perfect in the similar region. This really speeds up the segmentation process. The next tool we'll show is superpixel clustering. So this automates that process. Instead of having a magic wand on every portion of the image, it lets you automatically generate clusters that group together similar looking pixels in every local region. And then you can grab the pixels, or the superpixels rather, that are clustered together and make segments out of them. And this lets you significantly speed up the segmentation process compared to drawing pixel perfect masks directly. And it preserves that pixel perfect nature, as you can see here, where the car, after grouping all the different superpixels together, is really segmented out perfectly. The final new tool that we've introduced is automatic segmentation. Now, this is using artificial intelligence to allow the user to draw a single bounding box and then recognize the prominent object in the middle of that bounding box using a segmentation model. And this drastically speeds up the segmentation process because you don't have to, use magic wands, draw point by point, or even group together superpixels. It'll fill in the region automatically. And you can combine these tools. So once you have a filled in region from the auto segmentation, you can then turn on some of the other tools to maybe adjust the region masks to get the pixel perfection that you want in a high quality data set. All of this is meant to speed up the very tedious process of generating segmentation masks. So that shows some of the powerful tools when you're creating annotations. The other thing that is really important in the data labeling process is reviewing annotations. And we want to allow humans to do this at scale, whether the annotations are created by humans or the annotations are created by artificial intelligence automatically. And so we introduced grid review. This allows you to review your annotations in grids grouped by the same concept or the same worker. So you can see if the worker is doing high quality stuff, or if all the dogs or bikes or whatever you're labeling are high quality annotations at a glance. This is orders of magnitude faster than flipping through one by one in typical review systems. So we've automated every aspect in Scribe to really let you label data at scale. The next in the workflow or the AI lifecycle that we're going to walk through is Armada. We built Armada just last year to eliminate the DevOps in artificial intelligence and allow you to run AI at infinite scale. And the way that works is that any model in our platform looks at the traffic that's coming to that model, and it knows how to scale up itself to have as many replicas as are needed to handle the traffic within a reasonable latency envelope. And all of this is completely transparent to the user. There's not even a deployment button in our platform. And it'll scale up the replicas, of course, to handle traffic, but very importantly, it'll scale down the replicas to 0 replicas when there's no traffic going to a model. And this is very important because when you run our platform on premise, you're paying for those machines. And you want a software that will minimize the amount of compute resources. That's why we built Armada from the ground up to do just that. And with Armada, we've introduced a lot of new pre-trained models that handle different tasks for you out of the box. All of our pre-trained models are trained on millions of examples and tuned by our world-class AI research team to make sure that the best-in-class accuracy is available at your fingertips within seconds of signing up. Here, you're seeing image segmentation with our general segmentation model, recognizing different things in the foreground, different types of categories of segmented objects. To further this trend, we're doubling down on our support for text and audio recognition in our platform. And today we're very excited to announce audio transcription built into the Clarifai platform, supporting all the major variety of audio formats, and a whole suite of different languages and accents are supported in this platform. So let's take a look. In this first example, we're seeing that our human voice in English is translated perfectly into text.
I work at Clarifai and lives in Connecticut.
Again, with a different voice, different accent, we translate perfectly.
fourscore and 7 years ago, our fathers brought forth on this continent a new nation, conceived in liberty and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal.
And in multiple different languages.
ورجح التقرير الذي أعده معهد أبحاث هضبة التبت في الأكاديمية.
We're super excited to bring this at the Clarifai platform. So in a few lines of code, you can now add audio transcription to your apps. Because we have such powerful text support, we wanted to introduce handling text in so many different languages. And today we're introducing 100 plus languages of multilingual translation. And this furthers our capabilities that can be combined with what you just saw in audio to text. You can combine that with text to text translation in a workflow. So you can do really powerful things directly in the Clarifai platform without stitching together multiple different tools. So with the translation, let's take a look at what that looks like. So here you're seeing one language being translated into English. We can switch to a different language, Spanish here, now being translated into English. And all of these are available to add to API calls or to workflows. So you can stitch together multiple different things to come up with very creative solutions. And so let's talk more about workflows. As you just heard, they're crucial for automatic annotation. They're crucial for building higher level business logic. And we've really extended them in a big way by introducing a very simple to use workflow builder. It's a graphical interface that lets you chain together multiple AI models and other functional logic that is available in the Clarifai platform so you can do more in one place. All of this can be executed as a single API call, so the data will flow from inputs to outputs of each model, and those outputs get chained together as inputs to the next model in the workflow graph. And this allows us to do more sophisticated, higher level text understanding use cases like named entity recognition. This can be formulated as a workflow in our platform to recognize specific parts of text like people, locations, organizations, etc. And this also supports understanding in multiple different languages, like our audio and text support more generally. And by organizing in this way, you can sort through huge amounts of text data very easily. So let's take a look at the graphical interface and how we might build a named entity recognition workflow. So here in the graph builder, we give the workflow an ID. We then drag in a few different components. One is going to take in text and output tokens of that text. And the second is going to take those tokens and be able to recognize entities within them, the people, places, and things. And on the right, we're selecting the specific model of that model type we want. And then finally, we create the workflow. Now that we've created the workflow, let's take a look at what it looks like on some data that we've uploaded into this application. So here, it takes in the text on the right, runs it through that workflow, and we're seeing it recognize locations, organizations like Census Bureau, miscellaneous things, and then the O stands for other text. This is stuff that's not people, places, or things. In this other example, we're seeing the Warsaw Stock Exchange being recognized, the person Hearst, and the location of Europe. That's how simple it is to build named entity recognition at Clarifai. Finally, the last tool in the AI lifecycle is Flare, which pushes the computation to the edge. And this is really exciting because it opens up a whole suite of new use cases where you might be able to run on low power devices like drones, CCTV cameras that you just can't have access to if you're relying on a cloud alone. And this also improves the latency in many cases, improves the bandwidth. You don't have to have a fat network pipe in order to handle live streaming video, and can work completely disconnected from the internet. So it opens up a whole suite of new opportunities. And the way we've architected this was actually taking the Clarifai platform that runs in the cloud and making a lightweight version of it. And this allows us to not just do the predictions at the edge, but allows you to do fine tuning of models, training at the edge, labeling data at the edge. You can even pull up user interfaces if needed on an edge device. And very importantly, it is connected back to the Clarifai cloud. So models that you train in the cloud can be synced out to devices at the edge. Data that is being processed on those edge devices can then be synced back to the cloud in order to improve future versions of the model. So it's two-way sync built from the ground up, building on the same core components that the Clarifai cloud platform is built on. All of this runs inside Kubernetes, managed and deployed in the same way. It's even been optimized for different types of processors, not just x86, but also ARM processors. So it really provides a lot of flexibility for your edge devices. So let's take a look at an application that is powered by Flare. So here you're seeing a video of object detection and tracking. We're detecting different vehicles that are in the scene from a drone running our Flare SDK. And not only detecting them, but we're tracking them over time. So this can provide a unique track identifier that specifies that this object we're following frame by frame over time, and allows you to follow that object, maybe to fly the drone behind it, as an example. So this is really powerful technology, all running on an edge device, and we're very excited that that completes the end-to-end lifecycle in the Clarifai platform. As we talked about today, we focused on your unstructured data, allow you to label it 100 times faster than anywhere else, search over it as your data sets grow, and manage that data at scale. train incredibly fast and evaluate your models to improve their accuracy, run those models at production scale without ever having to think about the DevOps of AI again, chain together multiple AI models to do more within a single API call in our platform, and then run all of this at the edge with Flare. So we're really excited to introduce all the new products we've launched today. But there's one more thing. I'm very excited to introduce the next new product launch for Clarifai. This is something that's been long in the making, literally 5 years. Since our Series B in 2016, we've had the idea for a community around our platform. Now that we have all the tools for building world-class AI in one place, we want you to be building that together. So today, we're launching the Clarifai community. This is why we're talking about Clarifai and the Perceive conference as the world's AI. It really brings together the best-in-class researchers to collaborate with data scientists, developers, and operators on building the world's AI, and allows you to share models, share data sets, share annotations, concepts, all the resources that you can build within an AI app. You can share that with the world to collaborate with you. And this, we think, is going to be really game changer for the AI community because all of it is reproducible. Because we've encapsulated things in one platform within these AI apps that are projects for your particular use cases, it allows you to reproduce on the same hardware and the same models and algorithms so that the artificial intelligence that the world uses is now finally truly reproducible. We think this is the first place this is possible, and we're very excited to talk more about it tomorrow at our deep dive on the Clarifai community in tomorrow morning's keynote. So join us for that. I'm going to be talking in depth about the community, give you the first glimpse of it, and show you how you can gain access to it. So thank you very much for joining today's keynote. I am very excited to launch all of the exciting things the Clarifai team has been building with our customers and partners alike, and I hope you enjoy the next 2 days at Perceive. Thank you very much.